Welcome back to our GURPS Hammer campaign. I'm Rigel, your GM for tonight's session. This campaign will be utilizing the GURPS rule set, but is set in the Empire of Man, found in the Warhammer Fantasy role-playing setting. In addition to our live streams on Twitch, this and all future sessions will be available on YouTube and as audio-only podcasts. Links will be found in the descriptions, hopefully. FX Engineer, first, I need a roll for your secret into the skull, please. And do you have any character business for Kristoff?
No character business.
Cool. Nosh, do you have any character business for Enfys?
Yes, I was wondering first, do I get to put a point into crossbow because Jorg was training me up in that a couple of sessions ago? And then I think I should probably put some actual points into probably innate attack projectile.
Okay. Those both sound fine to me.
Am I burning a character point for the crossbow, or is that going to be time?
You'll still need to do that.
All right.
And also, I will need a roll for your enemy into the skull, please.
Oh, really?
He has an anemone?
Yes, he does. Gigerman, do you have any character business for Jorg?
No, just went ahead and took counterattack up to an actual useful level.
All right.
Not that I have a sword to use it with at the moment.
Well, maybe that can get fixed later. Mel, do you have any character business for Coppertong?
No character business, but I'll go ahead and make my klutz roll. Would you prefer that I make that in the box, or is that good to be open?
Yeah, let's do it in the skull, because then I'll completely forget about it.
Okay.
Okay, Ronky, I need a. No, I don't. You already rolled it, so I don't need a roll for your secret. Do you have any character business for Soren?
Negative.
Outstanding. Okay, so we are currently in Geissbach. Did I unshare that thing? I think I did. Yes, I did. Good. Geissbach, which is a pretty small village. The lot of you entered the village when you departed Ubersreich. You entered this probably a solid 15, 30 minutes ago. It is like all other imperial villages, because apparently this is basically a hell world, walled up to ensure that, some sort of protection. But you were proceeding to the coaching inn, which is called the Halfway House. I have one minor. Wait, I'll get to that afterwards. The PCs were acting as escorts for two wagons that your associate Drory Stonebeard hired you to escort to Bogenhofen. You're not driving it. That's Gunnar and Holtz. Earlier today, you had a brief encounter with some goblins that ended up with 5 dead goblins and one poor broken greatsword in Jorg's hands, which, is still something of a bit of amusement to me, even though I know it wasn't for him. Upon entering the village, there were, it is a small village, relatively small village, but the one minor retcon I did need to, it's not a retcon, it's more of a, I forgot to actually include this. You will definitely have heard the distinctive ring of a hammer against an anvil from somewhere in the village. The two wagons proceeded on up to the halfway house, and they were parked in the appropriate area, and Jorg is remaining out there to keep an eye on it, while everyone else went into the halfway house. And
Coppertong is also going to hang out with Jorg and drink.
Okay. Let's see if I can do this properly then. Right, I need to get onto that layer. Did that take automatically when I moved yep, looks like it did. Cool. Obviously, this is something of a normally it'd be like a tactical map, but that's not what I am using it for in this case. So the primary or the main room down there was fairly busy with activity. We had some of the descriptive stuff. We have, if we are scrolling in on the main area, we've got Jurgen, who is. Oh, I thought I turned that off. It looks like I failed to turn that off. Huh, maybe not. We've got Jurgen, who is the owner of the inn. He is doing innkeeper stuff. We have Sabrina, who the lot of you do not know, but she's very clearly doing bartendery stuff. Philippe here, who again the PCs haven't learned the names yet. I need to figure out a better way to maybe hide the oh, man, I don't want to have to do those twice. Where it's like, because you don't necessarily know the names at first, but he is basically sitting there screwing around with cards and idly flirting with Sabrina. When you entered, Yost over here and Borgun, the a dwarf, were engaged in something of an argument, and Yost exited. And then when he came back in, he did not rejoin the dwarf. Gunnar and Holtz are the two drivers that are sitting basically next to the table that I sort of presumed that the PCs just went to. You would also have recognized at least Sister Brigitte, who is at a table with a young woman who very much is dressed like a noblewoman. As we discussed last week, the pay that you had negotiated included, which I'd already added to yours, Enfys, did include standard room and board, which would have put you on the like in the common room. But several of you, it was 3 actually, I believe, Christoph, Enfys, and Soren upgraded their sleeping arrangements to have private rooms, which tracked with at least Soren and Enfys, both of whom are compulsive spenders. They've also splurged on some meals.
Christoph is the loner.
And okay, yep, there you go. Currently, Jorg has not entered the inn yet, as he is technically officially standing guard. Apparently, Copperton is hanging out there with him. Soren has also apparently purchased multiple bottles of wine, and so the lot of you are able to make your orders, and you are prepared and waiting for the food to arrive. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention. Maria is basically she's like a kid, teenage sort of thing. She's going to the tables and wiping them down or bringing the food in, stuff like that. So I am aware that Soren was already talking about trying to liven the entire situation up somewhat.
I don't remember what I had planned. That was like a week ago.
Yep. And I also remember, right, so with regards to, and this is also a reminder for the GM, with regards to the broken sword that was poor Jorg's, based off of basic 484, I got the following, where it's like it's probably considered disabled, so it's like 0 hit points or less, but it's not at -1 times hit points. According to those rules, minor repairs requires at least half an hour and a successful armory melee weapons roll. Since the base weapon costs 3,600, well, it'll be 3,600 D or GURPS or shillings or whatever. Not shillings, pennies, which is more than 1,000. So it's not you. Apparently, under 1,000 is a +1 on those kind of rolls. It's less than 10,000, so you're not at a -1. However, since it is disabled, the base army roll is at -2, and it requires spare parts equal to 1D times 10% of the original price. Obviously, you would need a forge, but it does sound like there may be one in town or in the village. And I probably should have done that jazz.
I actually did get online and look around to see what it would take to repair a broken sword like that, and basically everybody says the same thing. You just have to reforge it.
That's not what I have read. I have read that it's probably better. It just depends on where it was broken.
Well, but what I had read was that basically anywhere that you weld it back together is going to be a weak point and it's going to break again.
Yeah, well, Copper Tongue did warn you that it's a crappy sword because, look at it. Okay, so, but that's for, actually, I'm going to make you do the, see how badly you screw yourself there, Giger Man. Roll 1D for me. And then we're going to multiply.
I don't want to do
We're
that.
going to multiply whatever it is that you roll by 360. And that's how much the spare parts would end up costing.
360.
Yep, because it is base. It's
right.
10% of the original price. So that's 360.
Does that include the quality bonus on it, though?
That's how much a fine Zweihander costs is 3,600.
Without the quality?
That is with the fine quality.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
3,600 is what
Yeah,
I
it's only
saw
900 if it's not fine. So that's my question: does fine count against that? Not that I care all that much.
I am presuming you want to try to retain the fine. I mean, you could say no, and
Because of course.
so that's only 2160 for that, and you said it's 900 otherwise, so that'd be what, 90? So it'd be 540. Is that right? Math is hard.
What are you doing?
I was also trying to determine how much it would be if you said whenever you try to get Copper Tongue to repair it, that she's like, yeah, it's not going to be fine. It's just going to be, just a straight up regular sword. In which case it would be 5,400 instead.
Well, it doesn't really matter at this point, because if I have to pay for it based on it being fine, I may as well just buy a whole damn new, not fine one. It's way cheaper.
Yeah. Well, man, so you're not even going to let her do any smithing. We see what kind of friend you are. Plus, he doesn't
I
trust
don't have
her
the money
dice.
for the spare parts.
Yeah, he shouldn't trust my dice.
Okay, right. So, those of you who are inside will definitely your meals will arrive. I don't remember what they were. I'd have to look again. I know it's not the super expensive one because that's not present. There's the menu. Wait, no, that's the generic menu. It was the mutton meal. Right. So it will arrive along with the various wines that some of you have ordered, and you'll be able to set in. Holtz and Gunnar immediately. The first thing they did is they ordered several tankards, and then it's like, yeah, first we want to drink, then we will eat. Actually, do we? Yeah. So they ordered several pints. Right, so your food will definitely arrive. You'll be able to eat. It's pretty decent food, supposedly. Suppose. While this is going on, and Jorg and Copper Tongue are eating, you will see, or through this this little gate that's back here, that's near you guys, it will open, and several huntsmen will arrive. You will enter, and they'll like give you a nod, and walk over to walk over to the door that's leading into the inn and ring a little bell. Let's see how difficult this is going to be. Huh.
This is a really good map.
Jurgen will emerge from the doorway. Yeah, it's I don't think it's it's not the halfway house, and that's the official name in the canon. I don't recall officially what it is. I think I got it on drive through RPG. Yeah, and it's actually got 2 levels. Now I have to remind myself how to do the first floor. Yeah, and then it's like first floor that's like that,
Even cooler.
but based off of the the description, I'm like, oh, this should have a 3rd floor. So which is just like I just cloned the first floor or the next floor, and it's above it.
Even
Yeah.
gone to the trouble to do an outhouse.
Yeah, they have. So I strongly doubt that Jurgen and Coppertong are right there. They're probably like actually inside where the wagons are. Maybe with that gate probably with that gate open, but maybe not.
Depends which way the wind's blowing.
True. So the 2 of you will definitely note that the huntsman went over there and rang a bell, and they waited, and Jurgen will emerge, and the 2 huntsmen are like kind of like apologetic, and you can't quite make out exactly what they're saying, but simply based off of his reaction, as he's definitely not happy, and his voice is definitely getting a bit louder, and he will end up losing his cool, and you will definitely be able to overhear him from what is that for?
Checking the distance.
Yeah, so he's like a rather angrily, he's like, don't you realize I rely on you people to keep my larder full? This is the 2nd day in a row you've let me down. What's wrong with you? And one of them's like, oh, don't need to shout at us, not our problem. There's just no deer coming or near the village, not with the beast on the prowl. And I recognize that noise. Absolutely. Somebody's phone is being lit up. And as soon as the guy's like, mentions this, Jurgen is like, oh, Sigmar, no, don't give me this rot about the beast. And the other guy's like, oh yeah, Johann saw it in the gloaming, and Fritz found its nest, and poor old Ralph met his inn in it, more resting. And then the other guy's like, yeah, so venison's off, I'm afraid. And Jurgen's just like, super irritated, shakes his head, and he's like, okay. He's like, yeah, come on in and get a couple drinks, and then he will sort of note you guys are, just sort of loitering, and he's like, we'll give you a cautious nod, like, wait, did Coppertongue go in originally? I can't remember.
I
I
believe
think
the actual plan was that we were going to sleep out there on the carts, but not necessarily be sitting out here the whole time.
yeah, I know
On the other
Coppertongue
hand,
went
somebody
in to get
probably needs to guard it.
yeah, Coppertongue went in to go get food, but she probably came back out and
Well,
she is
he'll see you guys, sort of sitting over there, and come on, and I keep clicking off the layers thing. I need to stop that. That wasn't right. Unless it's like, oh my god, he's distorted, and he will walk over and he will check things out with you guys, and it's like yeah, they don't and he will mention, it's like, well, we haven't had any problems with thieves, so don't think you necessarily need to stay out here the whole time, but we'll generally just try to he's trying to be like a good steward here. I wouldn't Steward's not the right word. Innkeeper, and he's like definitely starts trying to upsell his inn. He's like look over here and look over there, and It's not on this image, on this particular image, because I couldn't find one that has it. But there should be over here. There technically should be like a round tower. That he was like, yeah, I had that. So there's in the process of constructing a round tower over there, where he's like, yes, he's gonna do that to put on some additional watchmen just to make sure, and all that jazz. And then we'll check to see if there's anything else that you would like. Anything he can get for you.
So Copper Tongue is gruff and unfriendly. So while he's kind of blathering on about stuff, she'll just every so often take a swig of drink and just stare. And then when he asks if there's anything we need, no, drink.
And what about York?
So I'll bet you're fun at parties.
There's a reason why Copper Tongue is out here.
York would tell him, I'll be in later.
Very good, very good, very good. And then he will go back in. Right about the point that the rest of you guys are sort of finishing off, finishing your meals. The flamboyantly dressed dude will, meander over to your table and introduce himself as Philippe Descartes.
Discards.
Bleh. He will introduce himself as Philippe, unless he does introduce himself incorrectly. I don't know if any of them speak Bretonnian. And he will attempt to engage the lot of you in conversation. He's mostly initially wondering, what's going on with the, or how are things in Ubersreich, because he's supposed to be traveling down there to meet some distant kin.
Well, what can I say? Ubersreich was completely dead.
I was trying to come up with something better than that.
And I slap Soren and say, right, big guy?
Absolutely. You almost died. If it wasn't for me jumping in to save you.
No, this sounds like a story.
Yes. That's true. He did. He dived into the water to save me. We were under attack by, how shall we put it, some reanimated creatures. It's quite terrifying, actually.
Wow. Yes, the situation in Ubersreich was grave. Well, I'd love to hear some more. Well, who animated them? I thought that was illegal.
Well, apparently, some necromancer was doing his nasty business. We, of course, tried to intervene, but you can only do so much against an army of the dead. Isn't that right, Christoph? And I slap Christoph's arm.
Christoph gives like a grunt. He's like, looks at Soren. He's like, well, Enfys wouldn't have been in the water if it wasn't for you. It's only right that you went in after him.
Says who?
And Philippe, what brings you to this lovely little tavern in this lovely little neck of the lovely woods?
Well, like I said, just heading south, from coming from Bogenhofen. Before that, I was in Altdorf, but I'm heading to Ubersreich.
I would say, by the cut of your clothing, are you a gambling man?
I've been known to play some cards, and he continues to
Wait.
sort of shuffle.
What did you mean by that?
How about you?
No, I don't play. I don't play cards, I'm afraid. I'm not even sure if anyone of my associates gambles.
Actually, I think there are multiple people who have the gambling skill.
Well, I'm willing
I
to
like-
play a few hands if you care to pass the time.
Absolutely. Maybe you'll be better than me, and teach me some new tricks.
Oh, I don't think I'm that good.
Okay. Yes. If Christoph and Enfys are interested, he will definitely, include them as well.
No. I prefer to spend my money freely on things that I enjoy spending my money on, not losing it at some game of chance.
You play for the fun of it.
There's nothing fun about losing money unless I'm spending it erratically. Speaking of which, and he looks over at is it Jana?
Yeah, she looks like she's sort of a maid for possibly the redheaded noblewoman the noble, because she's like, I don't know, 16 or 17.
How about Maria?
She has the very obvious look of she's a bodyguard.
Okay. Well,
I mean,
Enfys
you
is going
look
to
at
say,
her and the way she's sitting, the way she's watching everybody, and keeping the redhead in like, in her line of sight. Yeah, that's definitely bodyguard.
all right. Enfys then will, I guess I see it. Sister Brigitte is there. So I recognize her. So Enfys is going to get up and move over to talk to Sister Brigitte.
All right, I'm gonna go whoop.
Well, hello there, good sister. And funny that our paths should cross again. I'm glad to see you've got an entourage here and servants and the well-to-do and the very well to probably hurt me if I step out of line, as I nod at Marie.
Who grunts? Yeah. So the sisters, I guess, I thought you and your friends were going to be staying in Bogenhofen. Or sorry, Ubersreich.
So did we, but turns out that some necromancer had some other ideas for us. Did you hear about the terrible unleashing of evil?
Yes, we did. We left probably about the same. Yeah, we left earlier today as well. So very frightening.
Absolutely. Well, I hope they track down that nasty necromancer and give him what for.
Oh, I thought they had already caught her.
Oh, I must have.
Oh, right. You
perhaps-
weren't. You weren't here when we went over that. Let me remind myself exactly what I had stated. It was yes. So the latest rumor was that the necromancer had been captured by the river wardens, when she tried to make a run for it in her boat, and there was like evil, vile paraphernalia discovered on the boat, and all of it and her were turned over to the witch hunters for the question. And that was one of the reasons that the PCs as a group sort of like, oh, her name is still really close to Enfys's, and there's no way she's not going to go, oh yeah, these people came to talk to me, when the witch hunters are breaking out the pliers and not blowtorch. So it might be a good idea if we left.
Yes,
See what happens when you miss.
That terrible necromancer. Good thing they caught that necromancer. I say, we don't want them running amok.
Indeed, we do not.
And what? Anyway, it's so good to see you. I'm glad to see that you're well and you haven't been absconded by more scoundrels.
No, certainly not. Certainly hope not. And the entire time that you're like, chatting with the sister, who is being pretty friendly, because hey, you guys were part of the team that did rescue her. Although does Enfys have body language? I can't remember.
No, he does not.
Okay, cool. But the entire time that you're chatting with her, the redhead, the young lady, she's just like, I don't want to say glowering because that's not right, but she's definitely looking somehow, even though she's probably like a bit shorter than you and sitting at the table, she seems to be able to be like looking down her nose at you. It's a really neat trick. You know how
Okay.
those nobles are.
All right. Well, anyway, it's good to see you, and please, don't be a stranger. The night is young, and perhaps we could sit down a while and talk about, I don't know. I'm always fascinated with religion. Perhaps we can discuss that later.
Perhaps.
And he nods at the lady. The lady looks at the bodyguard, nods, and then I'll just head back to my table, I guess.
And I have yet to find really good gambling rules. I looked at the ones that you provided, Giger, and they were like, they're okay.
You could just do the GURPS basic.
they don't really go into it at all in GURPS Basic. What they go into at best is like, hey, you can use this to identify if someone is cheating.
Well, then I don't know if what I've played is canon or actual rules, but I've always done. You put up a stake, so your $100 is your stake, and you roll gambling, and your margin of success is your winnings, versus the other players on the table.
Yeah, all the
Or failure
official-
is your
all the
loss.
basic says is it's a regular contest of gambling until one of you wins. Yeah, a successful gambling roll can, among other things, tell you if the game is rigged, identify a fellow gambler in a group of strangers, or estimate the odds in any tricky situation. That's interesting. I hadn't thought about that. Estimate the odds in any tricky situation. I don't know why that would be gambling, but sure, why not? When you gamble against a house, make a skill roll. The GM will secretly modify the roll if the odds are poor. When you gamble against someone else, roll a regular contest of gambling. Page 197 until one of you wins. Sleight of hand is useful if you want to cheat. To spot a cheater is a quick contest of your gambling or vision, whichever is higher versus your opponent's sleight of hand. It's like that's the extent of what they cover.
If you wanted to have gambling more like of a mini game, the GURPS Deadlands books has a pretty cool system in there. I've never played
I
it.
didn't even think about even looking at that.
But I thought it was fun. You can play with a deck of cards. Your gambling skill you still use the deck of cards as like your randomness, or you can roll off of a table.
Yeah.
You can roll out, just 3d6 off of a table, and it tells you got a flush or whatever. And then your actual gambling skill, just you roll that separately. It's kind of like a complementary skill. It makes you can draw like an extra card or something like that.
Actually, didn't it kind of do that in the actual Deadlands game,
sure,
Daniel?
yeah.
Yeah, I think it's like you played the
It's
actual
based off of
thing.
that. Yes.
Yeah, I think you played an actual hand of whatever, and you made the roll, and based off of the roll, you got additional cards that you could use.
Yep. Every success by 5 or something like that, you can draw an extra card. But anyways, that's just a little bit more of a mini game if you didn't want to just roll, quick contests.
I will have to keep that in mind, and because I think that's actually one of your notes as well, Giger, where you're saying, just play the damn game. I'm like, then why do you have the skill? Now I rolled off of my place. While you guys are chatting, has anybody actually mentioned the orcs the goblins to anyone in the village? Because I don't recall you guys, telling anybody about the orcs. Damn it, I keep saying orcs. Goblins.
The Gorks.
Well, they are greens. They're both considered green skins. Oh, right. Sorry. Something else I forgot. Let me find it. Quick pause. The question came up regarding bounties, and I could not find anything official. But I poked around, and I ultimately ended up coming up with something like this, where it's like 2 pennies per goblin ear, because they're not particularly super awesome. But my ultimate thinking there is it's generally not going to be really high, but it's going to be just high enough that it will tempt the super dirt poor to go, I think I can do this. I'm going to go out and get some goblin ears. Unfortunately, based off of here, you would normally seek out an actual town. It'd be either a town or possibly like road wardens or something like that to turn them over. Because I know you guys had mentioned that if you decided, it might actually be worth it to keep some bounties, I don't know, throw them in a bag or something, then you would. And like I said, I had no problems going, yep, you could totally have done that. So it's up to you whether you kept, I guess it would be 10 goblin ears.
Yeah, it would be 10.
Somebody would had to cut them off, stick them in a bag. Maybe Papa starts wearing them as a necklace.
No, that's more of a teeth.
could,
That's more of a teeth thing.
You could get enough of them to sew them together into a bikini top.
Ugh. Why would you do that?
Oh, that's just no.
You get noticed.
That's one way to put it. Yes, it would get noticed. But yeah, so I don't know if anyone has actually mentioned the goblins at all.
What? I mean, maybe a bit of context. If we, I guess, what would we know about people wanting to know about goblins in general?
Goblins are greenskins in general would be like goblins, hobgoblins, orcs. They are considered a constant threat to inside the empire. So
I think
it's
I would
like,
leave
yep,
it to. I'd like to leave it to Christoph or Jorg or Soren, most likely Jorg or Christoph, to kind of make some comment about these things. I don't think Enfys would.
I don't think Christoph would either. He's kind of a loner. He doesn't talk to people, so somebody would have had to talk him up, maybe buy him a couple of drinks or something like that.
Well, Jorg is outside.
CERN will bring up goblins in just general chat as like, we did this, we did that. Oh, we encountered these goblins, and so it'll just be general chat. He's not being very specific about it.
Let's see. Was York the only one that was injured in the fight with the goblins?
I think so. It's usually been the other way around.
Huh. Oh yeah, and everybody can probably get rid of any fatigue they have because, well, had plenty of time to recover your fatigue. Yeah. So just the fact that you encountered some goblins a little bit ago, and since Holtz and Gunnar are there, mostly Holtz, and he's clearly does not have the alcohol tolerance perk and has already had like 4 or 5 of those pints and is like going to be like, oh yeah, there was a crap ton of them. And he also does not seem to have a proper volume control when he's at least lightly inebriated. So now everybody present is going to know about goblins relatively nearby. Philippe is definitely going to be asking a bit more since Enfys was, and in fact, Enfys is probably still over there talking to the sister when this comes up. He's definitely going to probably notice how the bodyguard definitely zeroes in on that conversation, which sort of makes sense because it's like, oh yeah, if she's escorting a young lady somewhere, and it's like you find out, oh, there were some goblins. Borgun looks up a little bit from his pint. But then, hey, apparently, based off what you guys seen from Coppertong, apparently all dwarves hate goblins. The other guy that was over there is going to also come over to join you guys while you are playing cards, and it's going to be asking about it's like goblins. So it's like, oh wow, and he definitely wants to know a bit more about them as well, if you don't mind.
Well, unless someone stops CERN is good to talk about it.
I also believe I don't know if I know Jorg saw the symbol
That thing.
the symbol, but I don't know if he shared that with everybody or if that was not shared with everybody.
I think he probably at least passingly mentioned it. So, oh yeah, I know these guys.
Right. So, since Soren is actually from Bogenhofen, yeah, it was like a
Soren was
little.
the one I was going to ask.
Yeah. Yeah. So since Soren's actually from Bogenhofen, he's also going to recognize the Rugbroder little seal, or what the hell is it called? Brooch. So he's going to have recognized it from the House Rugbroder, which is one of the 4 major merchant houses. And as you are discussing, you're going to also realize that Yost is actually got that seal on. It's like as don't think I yeah it's probably like a brooch on him as well.
Where did we see this symbol before?
It was discovered in the pouch of one of the it's like probably the leader of the goblins that you guys killed,
Right.
along with like a bunch of junk. Like, oh, hey, here's some couple shells, and this looks like a rock, and there were like 2 shillings, and I think I put that on the party sheet already. Yeah. But yes, so he's definitely going to be asking about that. And it's like, okay, well, that's very interesting. It's like, so there are goblins nearby.
Someone should offer a reward for people to go out and eliminate them all.
Well, that's yeah, that's up to the village head and all that jazz. I'm just here because I'm trying to find a cart driver from who went missing, and we can't find him. What time is Jorg planning on going in to get some food?
Oh, let's see. Not long. Copper, you got this? I'm going in.
Copper Tongue will just wave him.
I'll bring
Wave him
you an
off.
ale out next time I come out.
Thumbs up.
All right, so Jorg will go in, and definitely smells good. There's food, and as you are going in, you're also going to note that there looks like a bunch of farmers are like because it is starting to. It looks like the sun is starting to set, and you'll see a pretty decent number of farmers seem to sort of be like heading in this direction. But
Right.
then, hey, this place apparently has ale, so that makes perfect sense. And hey, look at that! There's Sister Brigitte over there. How
A
come
person
nobody
I
told you
know.
she was here?
Well, because they were all in here talking.
The nerve!
Well, I'm gonna go say hi, Sister Bernice. Ow.
Master Jorg, how are you doing today?
That's unfair. You remembered my name, and I didn't remember yours.
But it's on your character thing.
Oh, is it? It's upside down.
Oh,
And
right,
also,
yeah.
I can't read.
I forgot that he's actually illiterate. And then she's immediately going to observe. It's like, you seem injured.
I did not come over here for that. I promise. But yes.
I need to make a couple rolls from pulling it off of there.
Oh.
That is basically, checking to see if either the lady or the bodyguard recognized him.
Now that I see that, I'm like, yes, that would have made sense.
She's like, oh, well, what happened? Oh, was it the goblins that
Goblins.
Master Soren was talking about?
He got in a lucky hit. Went right through my brand new brigantine, right there. You can see the hole. I haven't even cleaned the blood off yet.
Well, you would have probably had plenty of time to have done that out there while you're waiting. Okay, well, I gotta check. I had to check her stuff. Let's see. So she is going to, without really thinking about it, she's going to step forward and touch the injury, and I think that is 1D. Now I can't remember. I should have had that written down better. Luckily, I got this spiffy thing that Nosh made for me. So, right. So that is up to 3 hit points. So she will give you 3 hit points.
And I will accept that happily.
And she's going to remind you the next time you encounter a Temple of Shalia, you should probably leave her a donation.
I will do that on my honor before Sigmar. Make the sign of the hammer and all that.
Now I'm kind of wondering, what is the sign of the hammer?
It's actually described on the wiki.
Is it? Well, never mind.
It's like the cross thing without the top.
Okay, so it's not the sign of the Aquila from 40K.
Oh, yeah, not familiar.
That's like
but yeah,
making
he'll.
a bird symbol with both of your hands.
That seems kind of ridiculous, but okay.
Yes, it does, but whatever.
While all that's going on, he'll do the usual small talk. How you doing? And say, well, nice to see you're still upright, and I will endeavor that should we meet again, I will not be injured when it happens.
That would probably be a good idea. Give me a heraldry check, by the way.
I suck at heraldry,
Maybe you
but
should
I has
get
it.
better at it. You should get better at it.
I'm not bad enough at it.
So you will recognize the heraldic symbol that the young redhead has, like emblazoned on her outfit, which identifies her as von Strudeldorf, which he will vaguely recognize as a pretty small house, but it's like territory is generally divided between Ubersreich and Bogenhofen, that area.
Right. My lady, von Strudeldorf, is it? I believe I've interacted with your family back in the war.
She will look mildly surprised. The bodyguard's definitely giving you the hairy eyeball, like she's about to jump over there and maybe knock the poor maid down if you do anything wrong. But the young the red she'll like actually I guess I should have nope I already made that roll, didn't we? Neither one of them the recognition didn't trigger. So is it really 7 on both of those?
Yeah.
That's an odd number.
Well, you can do that. You can get numbers other than the fixed points.
Did you do that or did I do that?
You did that, or whoever created it did that.
I have to look. I'm gonna have to double check in the
Could also have
cold
been a
bounty
mistake.
thing. Yeah, I'm gonna have to check on the cold bounty and make sure because it's like 7. It's such a odd number. It's fine.
It's slightly better than a 6.
Well, slightly, yeah. She will give you a very nice, cold, imperious nod, like yes, and then go back to just like sort of picking at her food. Doesn't seem particularly enthusiastic about it.
Well, Yerg will excuse himself, say there's a game with his game calling his name over there. So, well met. Good evening.
Drags another chair to join.
Doesn't even ask.
Yep. Yes. So now where the hell? Gotta scroll down. As I stated, that I don't have images for them, but a whole bunch of farmers come in, and hey, that was my phone this time. And they will go to the to the bar and start ordering some ales and such like that. And among them, I gotta find the dude. Let's see if this works. Hey, it worked. Sweet. Among them is a much older gentleman, and I need everyone to give me a perception test that is present in the inn. All right, so we got Soren, we got Jorg, we got Emphas. I need Christoph.
All right, what am I rolling here? Sorry.
Vision-based perception.
All right, stepped away for a second.
Unacceptable. The nerve.
Vision-based perception.
May just be straight perception. It's just like I say vision-based in case you have like acute vision or something like that. So it may be slightly better.
Success
All
by
right.
7.
Wow. Okay, we've got by 5 for Soren, by 0 for Jorg, by 3 for Enfys, by 7 for Chris. Wow, you guys are actually paying attention. Are you paranoid or something?
We are paranoid as frick.
The newly arrived dude is definitely given deference by all of the farmers who just sort of let him go up first and give him nods and such like that. So it's almost immediately apparent that he is probably, an elder or, somebody in charge, like maybe the nominal person in charge of the village. But what the other thing that you guys will definitely note is that he and Jurgen, even though they start talking to one another, they are very, very frosty toward one another. Does anyone actually have body? I don't remember.
Yes.
Okay, so give me a body language into the skull. Doesn't have any blood in it though. So sad. So while everyone is able to go, well, everyone but Carberton, who's out there, chilling out with some with her ale, while a lot of you are like, okay, there's definitely some frostiness going on. The rest of you or not the rest of you, but Soren is able to tell there is blatant dislike. These guys do not like each other at all, and they are really good at hiding it.
Clearly, Hans's Swartz is bigger than Jurgen's.
Maybe. Or, Jurgen is just jealous that he can't grow a proper beard, and Hans is embarrassed that his beard is weird. I have to have a minor gripe. I'm using this for my AI generation thing. I've been using this fake or this free site called Night Cafe, I think it is, and it will not let me do a proper handlebar mustache. I'm like, come on. I want the really cool, big, thick one. Right. Gripe over. So those of you who are, at least, glancing over there, Jurgen and Hans are clearly talking about, well, the crops. And it's just like, Jurgen's like, well, how does your crop fare? And Hans is like, going nicely. Should have a good harvest this year. And Jurgen's saying, well, okay. I mean, I don't understand, but as you'd grow wheat in all the fields, but more surplus, more to sell, all that. Hans is like, shakes his head. He's like, got to leave some wildness. Good for the soil.
Soren, while playing, just casual talk, for those that are at the table, he'll say, what's the story between those two? Or does anyone know the story between those two?
Philippe will glance back and, shrug and go back to his cards. Yost, who has found himself somehow playing cards, even though he clearly does not know what the hell he's doing, or he's just really, really good. He's gonna look up and he's like, yeah. Well, I've been in the village for a bit. It's Hans Schwartz, the village elder. He and the innkeeper, they have very conflicting ideas about what the future of the village should be. I understand, they really don't like each other at all.
What's their differing opinions? Who's saying what?
Hans wants to, based off what I've learned, and this is just a guess, mind you, but Hans wants to be or remain traditional in the village, whereas Jurgen wants to, expand it, make it bigger. He's Jurgen, the innkeeper. He's very ambitious.
The age-old problem: conservative versus progressive.
Something like that, I suppose. But you know how it goes.
Who has the more support?
Neither one of them, actually. They seem to be about even. It's an interesting power struggle. Jorg went AFK. I was gonna. Oh, good. Jorg's back. Jorg will also have noticed that Yost has the brooch, the Rugbroder brooch, when he joins, and it's on his stuff.
Well, if I notice that, I'll point that out. You missing anybody lately?
And that's definitely gonna go like, yes. That's why I'm here in this flea speck of a village. We lost a cart and a driver, and I'm halfway convinced these villagers may have done away with him and hidden the evidence.
Oh, Jurgen's going to pull out the pouch and the brooch and show them to him. tell him we got these off the goblins.
Did you? And he's going to start to reach for the brooch. He's like, would you be willing to sell that to me, sir? I need to take
well.
that back to my superiors and show them. So this could be.
As much as I like money, I consider this to be yours, or at least your family's, or your employers, whoever's it is.
And he's going to look at you, slightly confused. Well, merchants like everything.
I'd accept a reward, I guess.
Yeah, Søren's looking a little bit worried until he says, I'll accept a reward.
Very good. And he's going to, it's like, well, honestly, the brooch was pretty useless. Yeah, it's like you may have been able to sell it for a couple pennies or something. He's like,
but the information is worth something.
Yep. He's like, very good. And he's like, pull out his pouch. He's like, here you go. And he will hand you 2 shillings. And he's like, and you're York.
York
What,
Lange.
and the rest of your names? And he's like, breaks out a little notepad and he's like clearly jotting it down. He's like, I'll make sure that House Rugbroder knows of this.
From what Søren knows of this house, is it a good thing or a bad thing to be in their books?
Well, let's see. It kind of depends.
You could honestly ask that question about any noble family or company or anything. And
yeah, but I wouldn't mind.
It's probably a bit of both.
I wouldn't mind being in the Stark's books, but I might be a little bit iffy if I was in a Lannister book or something like that.
I don't know. Knowing your Soren's personality, he would be better in the Lannisters books than the Starks. The Starks are probably too noble for him.
Yeah, if you're in the Stark's book, it might be under the needs to get their head cut off section.
This is true.
Yeah, so there are 4 major houses in that. This is information that both Jorg and Søren are going to be aware of without having to make any rolls because, well, you're from Bogenhofen. Yeah, there are 4 major houses that are 4 major merchant houses in there. There are other little merchant guilds and minor little merchant houses, but there are 4 major ones. Rugbroder is one of them. Crap! Now I gotta find the darn thing. There we go. The Rugbroder family itself, they generally deal in grain and other farm produce. That they'll bring it into Bogenhofen in exchange for cloth and metal goods. They used to have a virtual monopoly on trade with Helmgart and Bretonia to the south, but now they have sort of been muscled out of that by House Tugan, which is one of the other 4 houses. So it just depends, entirely on what happens. They're not good, they're not bad, they're just a merchant house.
Okay.
Sorry, I was typing something really quickly. Yeah, because I don't think I can't think of any reason why he would think he's probably stolen from all 4 of them. Because, well, he is a thief.
Stolen? It's a little bit harsh. Liberated.
Stolen. I keep forgetting I have to jump through an extra hoop to generate the stuff the way I wanted it to. Sorry. Bah! Now I was hitting the wrong button. Right, those are the 4 symbols, for lack of a better term, for the merchant, the 4 major merchant houses. Okay, so I saw Søren made a gambling check. Give me a gambling check as well there, Jorg.
For the record, I am not putting up very much, as usual, because I suck. Although I'm okay today.
Oh, I guess that means I should probably get around to having Philippe make it. Woo! He knows what he's doing.
So in the case of this, Søren has already lost his stake, and he probably You probably put up 1 crown.
Wow. Okay.
He's a compulsive spender.
Definitely got everybody interested. Let's see. How did you? Oh, yeah, you failed by 2. And then wow. Okay, so let me get back to my pseudo notes. And I am presuming that, based off of what I did see something. I don't remember where I saw it, but it's like a gambling roll is like that's going to cover probably the duration. Where did I see that? Was that old one that I saw? I can't remember now. It doesn't matter.
We have no idea what you're talking about.
There was something that it was like a gambling thing that I saw. But okay, so I guess since Philippe won by 8 and Jorg is at best by 2, I guess Jorg lost whatever his was, but he.
According to the basic, they're just regular contests. So the game, Søren's out. Those that succeed are still in the game, and you roll again until people progressively fail.
Oh, okay.
And eventually there'll be a final winner.
I strongly suspect that Yost is also out based off of that roll.
Mm-hmm.
And since I established that he probably doesn't even have the gambling skill.
Or you could do like every round that you stay in, you gotta up the ante.
Well, York is not putting in a crown, so if people are going for that much.
Well,
No.
Søren would have put in whatever the buy-in was.
I actually, where did I see that? So Philippe would play for, well, generally anything, although he doesn't, he considers it a waste of time to play for less than 2 shillings.
Well, I can lose some shillings.
All right. So instead of a crown, it would have been 2 shillings then.
Okay, so yeah, I have to actually look up the regular contests. Clearly, I've been thinking they're done completely different. I thought it was just opposed all the time.
No, regular contests, you just keep rolling until someone fails.
Well, so if you do it that way, then whoever failed is out. Whoever didn't fail is still in, and we go to round 2. And it's probably reasonable to keep putting in more money as that goes. So another 2, I suppose.
And this is where you roll a 3, right?
Probably not. Am I the only one that actually succeeded?
I think you were the only one that actually succeeded because Enfys said, no, I'm not playing. And
Yeah, it wasn't going to happen a second time.
And Christoph, I don't know if Christoph is playing, but he's a loner, so he's probably like just sitting there going, why are there so many people around my damn table?
Well,
Yeah.
If he fails, then we keep going.
All right, let's see if we can fail. And I did not fail.
Yeah. So
By 1. I almost
apparently I'm done.
So all PCs were out, and an NPC won.
Yep. So I guess that's 4 shillings for Jorg.
Yeah.
Well, luckily that means you only lost 2 since you got 2
True.
from Yost. Interesting. I'll have to remind myself to actually read up on the regulars. I don't know why I was thinking that was different.
Because you're used to using quick contests.
Yeah, that's pretty true.
It hardly ever comes up to use a regular.
I'm sure that we actually roll quick contests a lot of the time when we should be rolling regulars.
That'd
Well,
be about right,
sometimes
wouldn't it?
different ones have different rules, so it depends.
Is it worth a training opportunity? Because I'm missing the point of what's the difference between the two.
Okay, so a quick contest ends up being based on the margin. Whoever got the best margin ends up winning the quick contest, and it only happens once. So both of you roll once. A regular contest, both sides roll each time, but unless one of them fails, then you keep going.
Oh, okay. So the margin doesn't matter in that case.
Yeah.
Correct. Though I think
Unless it's a special case.
criticals matter. in that case. I'm not sure. But
I
the
don't think so.
the example given in the book is an arm wrestle. So, you both roll. If both succeed, then I guess the person that has the higher margin of success is sort of currently winning, but they haven't won. Then you roll again. If there's a definite winner, then that person wins.
Yeah, it doesn't say anything about criticals under the regular contests on 349. I was actually surprised about that. I mean, it does make the mention about it. It's like, hey, if they have really, really high scores, both all parties are really high.
Mhm.
So it's like if you have everybody who has a 20 on the roll, then arbitrarily reduce everybody's low or score by 10. No, to speed up the process, reduce the lower score to 10 and subtract the same amount from the higher score. Interesting. Right. Yeah. So, well, it's going to take a bit of time. You guys are playing some cards. About an just as you're getting close to basically nearing the end of the first, I want to say the first actual round of the card game, there is a loud clamor outside of men, and the front door opens, and a fellow enters. He is definitely noble, and Jorg will immediately recognize that without even having to make the heraldry test, that he has got the same heraldry as Lady Assault. And and honestly, he's got the same hair color too. He looks around, he sees her, and he starts stomping over there. There are at his back, and that they don't enter very far, because at this point you've got a lot of farmers in here who are like taking up all the extra seats and drinking, and maybe some of them are like dicing or playing cards themselves. But the fellow marches over to her table, and as he is doing so, the bodyguard chick is definitely going to spring up and make sure he doesn't charge forward. And the fellow began. The newly arrived von Strudeldorf begins basically having an argument with Lady Isolde that what the heck is she doing here? She's supposed to be traveling back to the home, not going north to Bogenhofen. And all of the farmers and such are like looking on, but they're or paying attention, but they're making a strong effort to I'm just drinking. I'm not involved. I do not want a freaking nobleman to get honked off and order me horsewhipped, so pay no attention to me. Sort of mode.
I meant to ask, or I should have asked before, what is their status?
Higher than yours? 2, maybe. Oh wait, I've actually got that stuff written down. I have to remind myself where I have it written down, because of course that wouldn't be super easy, would it?
Well,
have
it'd be
to
a
ask me
minimum
that.
of 2, but 3 is going to be more likely. But probably higher than that.
Well, I know it's weird in Warhammer. I just have to find the stupid thing again, because of course you have to ask me something I'm wildly unprepared for. Thanks.
Well, I don't need to know right away.
No, but it's possibly, maybe not important. I don't know. I don't remember. Damn it! Where did I put it?
Did you not put that on the wiki?
I don't remember. Maybe.
Well, I think you ripped
Apparently
off mine for the wiki.
Well, no. There's the GURPS hammer thing has a thing. I thought I frickin' put it in a note or something, but I just don't remember where I put it. And I'm scrolling through those, and I do not see. Is it that? That's not it either. Way to be a dummy.
So is that how that's not going to come through correctly?
What's not going to come through correctly?
That link, it's going to fail.
Yes, it did fail. Hold on. Then I can just go and pull up the proper thing.
Well, that should work. It just doesn't like when you go to an anchor. But I was going to ask if that is actually relevant.
Relevant.
Actually, it
What do you
should be.
mean?
You used there. You changed the names on there, so that should be correct.
Did I?
Yeah.
Okay, then that should probably be the right one. It did not go through. Why didn't it go through?
Did the second one not work?
It errored out on me. Yes.
I think we ran into that problem before. Yeah. Anyway, it's the campaign rules.
Right. That's why I was like, grr, arg. Is that?
Oh, it's the parentheses that it's choking on.
Yes.
Well, I didn't mean to turn that into a thing.
I think that's correct. It may be slightly wrong because I know I just in the GURPS Hammer thing they had the status and I was just saying screw it and using that, but I don't know. I don't remember if I copied that and updated that thing correctly or there on the wiki. There it is. Jeez. Okay. And let's see. Let me compare those. Yes, I think that's yeah, I think that's right. So they are actually I think the 2 is probably right.
Really?
Yeah, basically because it's a very minor house.
It had to be really minor. Like
Yeah, like I
barely
said,
noble.
Baron, that's noble.
I thought Baron was 3.
Not on the feudal rank there, which is what I pulled for this.
Oh.
I pulled this from GURPS Hammer. And remember they have a bit slightly different. Yeah, a knight
I was expecting that to be higher.
is 1, a baron is 2, Count Palatine, Count to the Empire, Altgrave, Altgravine is 3, and so
Okay,
on.
carry on.
So still 2. That means, in the Empire, they possess surprisingly high authority. So the 2 of them are definitely engaged in a loud and angry argument. Simply based off of this, you are able to kind of piece together that it seems like, well, to begin with, they seem to be siblings. He's the older sibling, and he's honked off about her going to Altdorf to speak with, or to meet with her father for some reason. It's probably marriage related. So the question I have is anybody getting involved?
Yerg is going to slide a silver or a shilling out on the table and says, the guy storms off.
Philippe will look over there, consider it. I have to make a roll. Well, that's made it by 0. So he doesn't have to take that. So I'm going to use that gambling thing that it refers to, that he's going to check that out and try to determine the odds, whether he wants to take you up on that. He's going to look at them and then glance back in probably the direction of the bar where several of we know it's Amadeus. Several of his guards are sort of loitering and watching. He's like, I'll take that bet, and puts a shilling of his own out. Is anybody else getting in on that action?
Yeah, Enfys is going to put a shilling down that he's going to hold his ground.
Traitor.
Yep. So Sleep and Enfys think, nah, he's gonna stay there.
Soren, he'll just sort of watch the first round to see if he wants to get in on this action.
They go back and forth, and exactly as probably suspected, it does involve a dispute, an argument, as it were, over her marrying one of Amadeus's, not friend. Well, I guess you'd say friend, and Jurgen, the innkeeper, just sort of like, eventually makes his way over there, and tentatively is like, apologies, my lord, would you and your men be requiring a room for the evening? At which point the nobleman sort of, he finally, he stops shouting. He's like glancing around and sort of realizing that, well, he's surrounded by all of these low level, not low level, but peasants, and kind of making an idiot of himself. And he will visibly take a moment to comport himself properly, control himself, and he will say, "Yes, make it happen." As he tosses a handful of gold to the innkeeper, who looks deliriously happy at that. And then he will note that there is, well, actually, it's not. Over on the other end of the thing is the actually, what is that? I guess that's where everybody normally would eat. Talking about like in there.
I would assume that's like a feast hall.
Hmm.
That'd be a feast hall for important people, because
Fantasy tavern doesn't make any sense.
if you have a look at these tables, there's like plates and stuff on the tables, so people
Yeah.
eat in the common room. That would be the room for important people, the function room.
Well, yeah, I suppose, and it isn't completely out of steps with the with Jurgen's desires. He will. Oh, right. I needed to make a or do it. Yeah. So after a few moments of that, he is actually going to storm away into that room with the with his men,
Wait till he's well clear and then fist pump. Yeah.
and snatch up the 2 silvers that you just retreat or won.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can go back to the next round of your gambling game.
Huh.
Yeah, if there's something that someone wants to do, at some point in here, feel free to jump. Say, "Oh yeah, I want to do X or something like that."
Well, Emphas will head out to the courtyard so he can talk to Queenie.
Hey, take her nail.
Waha.
And because it never happens in a RPG, Søren's going to go use the outhouse.
Akbaro.
Yeah, you say that, but it actually has happened in the previous version of Warhammer that I
Uh-huh.
played. It was there was this whole tavern inn situation where there was a body in the room of a former PC, and several of the PCs are like, "Oh man, we got to get this body out. We get so he doesn't get in trouble." And it was on the second floor, and it was like storming and raining really hard, but they ended up shoving the body out the window, where it fell and lawn darted into a bunch of mud. And two or three? I think it was three. Other PCs basically grabbed the body and stuck it in the outhouse, and sort of Weekend and Bernie's it over to the outhouse. And then they're like, "Oh yeah, sorry, it's occupied now." Soren was in the crapper. What was Copper Tongue's roll for?
I was just doing a general roll to see if she had dozed off and was asleep.
Oh, I was wondering if it was going to be that, or it's like, oh God, it's Infus, bad temper time.
No,
If she's asleep, would she still kick him in the nuts?
it's probably involuntary at this point.
Poor Infus.
No, Queen's awake, kind of propped up on one of the wagons, and got some straw, like kind of like one of those piece of straw, like that she's chewing on.
So noted. Midway through, or actually pretty close to the end of the final round of the game. another woman is going to enter the inn, and she's going to be hefting a fairly large, heavy, padlocked box. And he's like, a bunch of the farmers are like, glancing at her, and it's like, like thinking that's weird. It's like, yep, sorry, it's a burden, not worth my job to let others interfere. Excuse me. And she's gonna plonk it on one of the tables and hail the girl, Maria. It's like, look, this thing's pretty dangerous, and I need to keep an eye on it. Don't worry or anything, but if you could just bring me some ales when I call for them, I'd appreciate not having to leave my seat. And she then slumps into her chair with a fairly loud sigh and drapes a protective arm over the box. The box itself is positioned so that people all around can see some words that are like, written on it, presuming they can actually read. So it's useless to Jorg, and honestly to probably most of the other people that are present, most of the farmers. By this time, Soren is done with the outhouse. Has he gone back inside, or is he out and about?
He will. Is it a good night or is it a shitty night? Weather-wise.
It's okay. It's not. It's still very early spring, so it's got a bit of a nip in the air. You've got the manslib, the primary moon, so not the chaos moon. It looks like it's going to be completely full tonight.
He will hang outside, park himself there, just sit down and chill for a little bit before he heads back in. Get some fresh air. Kind of stinks in the tavern.
Maybe. So, for those of you that can read, which actually I guess that would be just Christoph right now, that's inside, you will be able to see that on the box is written "Property of Altdorf Zoo. Do not open unless instruction of a member of the Faculty of Bestiaria." And you will be able to hear some like scrabbling noises inside the box.
Open it.
I think my curiosity is going to get the better of me.
Okay.
But he does check for traps because he's a little bit compulsive about that.
She's sitting there. She's got her hand on the box, or her arm draped over the box. So
You detect one trap.
Okay, so is it Slay of Hand maybe?
it's a big box. You're not going to be able to just take it away from her.
Oh.
You could just talk to her.
But that would require talking.
What's in the
It
box?
was.
It's like, so what's in the box then?
She'll look at you. I'll have to move in so he can actually get over there. And she's like, "I will tell you, sir." And voice definitely carries. So you got a bunch of the farmers who are sort of like looking and paying attention. He's like, "What I am carrying here is none other than a basilisk brought from its home in the distant Southlands and bound for the Emperor's menagerie. 'Tis a deadly creature, and no mistake, sir, with a ravenous appetite for human flesh and 8 clawed legs to tear up its victims. But that's not the worst of it, for to look into its eyes is to be turned vertibly into cold stone for now and evermore. I, loyal scion of the Faculty of Bestiaria, at the celebrated University of Altdorf, and employed to see it safely delivered, for there are many who go to great lengths to acquire the basilisk for nefarious purposes, hence my taking it these backwards roads on my way to the capital. At the menagerie, it'll be stored in a walled room, and people will pay 3 shillings a go to catch a glimpse of it through a mirror. Rip-off, if you ask me, sir. Why, I'd let any curious as to see a basilisk unscathed do so looking through this looking glass that I use to ensure he eats his dinner for just a few pennies. 4 pennies, if we're being exact about it." And she like waves a little hand mirror.
Yeah, I think she's just like stunned with all of that speech.
Seems to
Wasn't
have gotten
expecting
a
all that.
bunch of the farmers very, very interested. Like, oh wow, yeah, I'm kind of curious. And they, like,
Well, if it's
counting
looking
out
the
their-
wrong direction, looking into that glass is going to be a bad idea.
You know anything about basilisks?
She just
I
said
don't
looking
know.
into its eyes will turn you to stone, incontrovertibly, whatever that means.
She did say that. You're right. Oh.
But it does seem like a bunch of the farmers are like, oh, well, I'm kind of interested. Yeah, this seems like a good. It kind of sounds kind of excited. Some of them will actually leave to go get some family members that I guess they don't like, that they want to turn them into stone. And it's like a little queue is gonna have sort of been lined up, and some people are gonna be like, give her the count out the 4 pennies, and start looking at the using it to look through there, look through the using the mirror. And she's like, be careful, poor thing's probably dazzled by the lights. That's why it's keeping so stiff. Probably more afraid of you are than well, you are of him, sir.
So it's probably just a rabbit with paper mache horns or something.
Every now and then she's gonna slam the lid shut. It's like, oh, I think I saw him move there. Best keep in the dark for a minute until he settles down. Let's see. So Jorg and Christoph, give me in the skull a perception -2.
Okay.
-2i.
Soren meanders back in here, finds a whole bunch of people, like doing
Are all
something
stone?
weird. No, they seem to be trying to look into the box though, or like lined up and waiting to look into the box.
She's charging people 2 shillings to look at her box.
That raises Søren's eyebrow.
It's a big box. Wait, that sounds bad too. So Christoph, but not Jorg. Christoph is going to note that the scrabbling sounds that every now and then he hears, those are absolutely 100% not coming from the box itself, but they're like made by her when she's like discreetly scratching the size of the box. Side of the
Oh,
box.
she's a farce.
She wasn't asking 2 shillings. She was asking
is
4
Soren-
pennies.
Soren's in there with me, right?
Yeah, I suppose he's probably meandered over to the rejoin the group at this point.
So I think so he'll like whisper over to Soren. He's like, Soren, like it's a fake. She's the one making those noises. I think Christoph doesn't really care one way or the other,
I don't know if Soren would care either.
but he'll like tell Soren that it's a fake.
It's a fake. How does
Let's
Soren
see.
react?
I don't think Soren
I
is
think-
above
I think
blackmail.
maybe we should take advantage of this situation.
Wow, you guys are d-bags. It's awesome.
Maybe she will pay us to keep quiet.
She's charging 2 shillings, right?
No, she's like 4
2 pennies. 4 pennies.
Like 4 pennies. So it's like it's a
One-
pittance.
1 shilling? Is it 4 shillings per
No.
penny? 4 pennies per shilling? Or no? 12.
Yeah, it's like 12 pennies per shilling.
What was the price of an average drink?
Depends on the drinks.
Like
I think it was
your
4
standard.
pennies for an ale. We had it in a note.
Yeah, it should be in the notes. Halfway house menu. There it is. Did 4 pennies for an ale, a pint of ale. So clearly, she's not exactly like making bank here.
Like, how many drinks has she made so far, and how many drinks is still lined up?
Let's see. Probably 5, 6, closing in on 7. You want to go over there, then that'd be 8. I mean, there's number of people who are interested in all that, but
Yes, Søren's going to be a dick. I'm going to choose to fail kleptomania, and that is going to be representative of not necessarily stealing some shit, but he wants to get in on the scam. So Søren will go over. He'll whisper into his ear so no one else can hear. he will say, "You keep my cup," or he'll whisper, "You keep my cup full this evening, and I won't let them know that this is all just a ruse. I'll keep your secret."
Let's see. That sort of
He will be attempting to look at body language, and I guess it's fast talk.
Would that be fast
Could be
talk?
intimidation,
That
I
sounds
guess.
almost intimidate.
He doesn't have intimidate, so he'll try and do it from a fast talking angle. He'll say, "Oh no." He'll say, "It would be terrible if people found out what the scam that you're running here. How about I help you along and play it up a little bit, and you keep my drinks flowing,
Okay.
or not?" So that's
Christoph's gonna
an
snicker.
immediate bad reaction.
You insult me, sir. Christoph was going to do what?
He's watching from, short distance away. He just kind of snickers. Like normally he wouldn't give a shit, but this amuses him.
Maybe he's had a few too many. Okay, so while you are in the process of doing that, Haltz and you didn't realize that one of the drivers was in the line, and he's the next person to lick, and the two of you, Soren and the woman, are having your exchange as Haltz is sort of starting to lean down to take a look. And as noted, he has been doing a bit of drinking, and he hasn't really been eating much. So he is really, really wobbly on his feet. And he puts one hand down on the round table and leans forward, and just unfortunately he puts all of his weight on that corner, so it causes the whole thing to flip, which results in the box going sort of tumbly, and it breaks open, because of course it is just like Soren dropped or broke the other, or the urn. It's pity Infus isn't there to see it. Both of you go, whoa, deja vu.
Is that turning into a thing for us?
It does seem to be turning into a thing. I'm starting to wonder.
If zombies start appearing everywhere, then it is not allowed to turn into a thing.
As soon as it breaks open, everybody's like, "What the hell?" Because this it looks like a dead lizard that looks like somebody has sewn some legs on it, some extra legs on it, and it's like, there's like some twine and stuff like that. And so it's like, it's a stuffed lizard. It's a fake. And all of the villagers sort of start turning toward her, and they're starting to shout that she's a thief and a swindler and maybe a witch. And she's like, whoa! No one's been more duped here than me. Those Wastelander bounders, what delivered me this, they just said it tended to stand still when it was being looked at. I wondered why it wasn't eating its food.
Wow, she's good.
I will repay everyone. Wow, this is really frustrating. But needless to say, there's been some alcohol, quite a bit of alcohol in town or in the village. So a number of people are at least slightly inebriated and probably feeling like idiots because they were buying in on this thing, and they're like getting angrier, and she's got started to get that looking around. Where's the nearest door? Can I make it? Nope, there's too many people there. I have to go over that table. And the village elder guy, Hans, he sort of wraps his hand on the or not his hand, but his now empty mug, wraps it really loudly on the bar, and that causes everybody's sort of look back, and he's like, people of Geissbach, this woman has stolen nothing from you that has not been returned. However, she has abused our hospitality, and as such is no longer entitled to it. I judge that she be taken to the gate and thrown out into the wilds, never to return. At which Jurgen steps forward, the innkeeper. He steps forward and he's like, this woman is a criminal and should be tried as one. I say we lock her up in the cellar and in the morning send her to Ubersreich, where the cult of Wise Verena can decide on her fate. And the crowd gets super confused, and they're like, talking, hurriedly to one another, discussing the options. And Jorg, you're sitting down there next to Yost, and he goes, "Huh."
Eh?
And he's like a little confused. He's like, "I've been here for like a week. This is the first time that Jurgen has openly defied a ruling or something by Hans. Never seen that before." And all of the townspeople are, or not townspeople, but villagers are chatting away. There's lots of farmers in here now. They're just not important enough to get cool little pictures. And several of them will turn to let's see who I guess it's probably gonna be Soren's the closest person. And it's like you got one of them is like, what about you? How do people around your way deal with the mountebanks like that?
Can Soren roll body language to see, try and get a really good read on the girl or the lady?
Yeah.
And meanwhile, Infus has strong-armed Queen into heading into the inn, so they will be making their way over there.
Just in time for the bar fight.
Of course.
So what sort of read does he get on this?
Hold
This
on, I
lady?
was
Is she
trying to
fully
move it,
terrified?
and then it's being down. Hold on. I wouldn't say terrified. Definitely looks, mildly worried. I mean, nobody wants to be threatened by, arrested and turned over to the law.
Maybe it's just the ale talking. Not that Jurg has had nearly enough ale to get him talking, but he's gonna throw a little golden apple out there and say somewhat loudly that sending her out in the night into the wilderness would be like a death sentence. What with that beast running around?
Okay. That is definitely going to cause some people talking. It's like, yeah, that blonde stranger guy in the armor that we've never seen before has a really good point.
He just wanted to see what people thought of the beast.
Oh man, yeah, the beast might get her. Wait, but she did steal from us. It may be the best, or what she deserves. They all do seem to believe that there's a beast out there.
It would seem so.
Trying to determine, do I care? What do I think here?
Yeah, pretty much. Has she got any redeeming traits? Is she attractive?
Well, she's a fast talker.
All right.
She's your kind of scum.
Let's see if I pull this off. Okay. So Soren's going to look at her and see that she's concerned and worried and stuff. He'll take pity. He'll give her a look and sort of shrug. He'll say, he'll sort of whisper to her. He said, "What was it? How dare you?" And then he'll smile and he'll say, "Look, I know that she has tried to pull the wool over your eyes, but it was all in the name of entertainment. Were you not entertained? How many times have you been to a fairground to see the stuffed animals there? And they're still entertaining. I think we give her a little slack if she pays back all the coin that she took from everyone."
All right.
And he's trying to fast talk the crowd.
Yeah, but your klepto thing failed, and you were trying to get some of that coin.
He may still.
Okay. Is Christoph interjecting anything here?
I think he's just watching on amused, but maybe. Wait, did Soren already did his fast talk? I was gonna say maybe he can throw in a couple of words like, "Well, I don't think she deserves a banishment or whatever you said earlier for this.
It looks like
It's-
the two options that the contestant or the people engaged in the silent power struggle have offered is one, kick her out of the village and banish her, or two, throw her in the cellar as arrested and turn her over to the road wardens. Doesn't look like they're particularly enthusiastic about just pay the money back and let her go.
He will be like short on words, but if he can say anything, he'll say that the dungeons might be a bit harsh. Banishment might suit her better.
So Infus and Coppertongue enter. There's like apparently some sort of craziness going on. It's pretty loud in here as everybody's arguing over their course of action. It doesn't take you particularly long to get caught up. Do either of them have anything to say into the or suggest into the situation once they've learned the specifics, or do they just not care?
Coppertongue's not curious, but you mentioned there was some writing on the box. Was that already translated by somebody, or?
Yeah, it was just like property of the Altdorf Zoo, and it's just clearly intended to maximize her scam.
Is that property of a dwarf?
No, Altdorf is a city.
Okay.
Sorry, not dwarf. Dwarf.
Well,
So Queen will
Actually,
kind of.
Altdorf is the city. It's the capital of the empire.
So Queen will basically kind of glance around the room, take in a little bit here and there, up at Infus, look back at the door, like I left my perch for this, and then go up to the bar and plop down on a stool
Okay.
and
How about
order a
Infus?
beer.
Jurgen is apparently busy. Actually, Jörg is gonna head over there himself. His tankard is dry, and as he's passing by up there and headed toward the bar, like you could use pillory. You guys have a pillory, don't you? That's sort of halfway in between.
Enfys will go and plunk himself down at a table near Amadeus von Strudeldorf and give the noble a nod as he does.
So, just so you know, Lord Amadeus is just standing there. He's clearly not. This isn't where he was. He came out to see what the excitement was all about.
He said, "What's all this then?"
He may have, except since everybody speaks German, and although inexplicably you're all speaking with a crazy British accent, because of course you are, and he is probably going to say slightly louder than he should just flog her, kick her out, and then return to the thing with everybody with his men. Okay, so let's see here. Got that. I have to adjust some stuffs. I have to review just so everyone is actually aware. Meta notes. There is with regards to the ongoing power struggle. There are points that people are that some of your actions are applying to one side or the other. So it's kind of entertaining to me.
GM's got to get his jellies too.
It does seem a little amusing. Okay, so there is some back and forth, and
If it looks to be going bad, CERN's going to completely try and derail it. He'll just start laughing, and he'll say,
what is his definition of going bad?
well, like, she's going to get flogged or...
No, they okay. So I should have followed that up. So the nobleman says that, and as he is turning away, he gets a lot of dirty looks from the various farmers, as well as those kind of expressions like, "Really, a flogging? Come on, man." So that doesn't really even seem to be on the table. It legitimately seems they're mostly divided between one or the other, whether Jurgen. They side with Jurgen and put her in the cellar temporarily, or Hans, and just kick her out.
Well, either of those is not what Søren wants. He wants to talk with her some more. So he'll again speak up, say, "Look, I think this was all fun. We've had our night's entertainment. I'm sure if she says sorry to you all, and I'll pull out a crown, and I'll say, drinks for the night will be on me." And he'll sort of look down and say, kind of, taking a jab at her, "You are really sorry now, aren't you?"
I was totally thinking that Giger needs somebody who's like,
So
hey,
wanted to say it.
yeah, that would be kind of amusing. Okay, well, crown. That is.
So that's that would be 60 drinks.
No, that's fine. That's definitely another point in Jurgen's favor, by the way, for the power struggle. You guys
And
already
Jurg.
gave him. You guys have already gave Jurgen the 8 point earlier when you like, yep, I want a better room than this. Also, I want better food and more bottles of wine. And he's like, all right, awesome. Okay, so
I'll refrain from recommending Søren for the pillory as long as he's buying drinks.
Oh, you are
let's-
sorry, right?
Oh, she's gonna spin a tale of woe. She's super sorry. This was not her fault. It was those bastards who cheated and lied to her.
But you are sorry for your part in this, yeah? And it would never happen again.
Ooh, damn, her tale of woe was awesome.
It
Even-
can't get any better than that.
Even
Three.
Søren believes her.
Yeah. The 3 Bs.
So is her
Bite
tale
your
of
lip.
woe? Is her tale of woe like an adventure type story?
It might be. I mean, she
Okay.
rolled a 3, so
Oh, there's
All right.
tears.
Oh,
there are
she's-
legitimate tears, and she's got a she was beaten by her dad. Actually, I should look at her stupid stuff, see what the hell they have there.
yeah. So about halfway through her tale, Queen will take her drink, hop down, go over and park in a chair nearby, and like lean forward on the table, like both elbows on the table, is completely wrapped into this story because of her quirk.
What's the
Which was the Kirk?
what's
Loves
the general
ridiculous adventure tales.
what's the general read of the crowd?
Oh, she rolled a 3. Everyone is wrapped on her. It's intent on her tale of woe.
Then Søren will toss the crown to Jurgen and say, "Keep the drinks flowing."
Okay, let's see here. Yeah, that's super amusing that I rolled that then.
And then
Yeah,
Søren
so-
will plock himself down and chat with Heidi.
Oh, she's telling the long and possibly unlikely story.
Uh-huh. Yeah, she better not be here in the morning when that wears off.
You're talking about she's like probably gonna start inching toward the door as soon as you get a chance. Unless Søren somehow manages to corner her and sneak her away. That's the last we see of either one of them because she ganked him in the back and buried his body.
Mm-hmm.
Down in the outhouse.
Well, after she's
Perfect.
finished the story and people get back to their business, Søren's going to say, "So how long have you been pulling this scam?" Quietly. So just the table here.
I have no idea what you're saying, what you're talking about. What's Søren's intelligence?
12.
Okay, so that's by 4 then. But she's really good. I mean, she even has the built-in lip quiver.
I guess Søren doesn't know that she's acting.
I think don't you automatically get a roll to detect that?
Probably.
I realized-
will normally, so
I realized after the fact I should have done that in the skull, but I forgot to do it in the skull. Is it opposed?
yeah. Normally when you're
So-
doing influence, it's versus will.
So that's tied. That means Søren
Defender wins.
almost believes her.
That
I mean,
means
he
she did
comes-
not succeed.
Yeah, he almost believes her, but there's something about, maybe it's the way her eyes are moving and keeping an eye on where the exit. He's definitely in the she's good.
He'll actually verbalize it. He'll say, "Damn, you are good. You almost had me for a minute."
Okay, so the farm people, or farm people, good lord, the farmers will pretty much give up on the thing, because they bought her tale of misery and woe, and they are all of reduced will at the moment because of nice ale, and apparently there's a lot of it going around right now, since somebody paid some extra. Those of you who glance in the direction of Jurgen and Hans will definitely be able to determine that they are, definitely do not look remotely happy. Well, actually, Jurgen looks pretty happy, because he's like, check out this gold piece that I just got, gold crown. And Hans is actually going to make a quiet, he's going to make an exit from the building, without drawing attention to himself. Like the points ended up slightly not in his favor. And soon thereafter, Heidi is also going to make a discreet exit, unless she is prevented for any reason, because she clearly doesn't want, like Giger said, she clearly doesn't want to be around when that fast talk effect wears off. What was the reaction roll there for Jorg?
Ale quality.
Oh, it's average quality.
It's apparently serviceable.
Yep.
Well, if she insists on leaving, Cern will not stop her.
Well, he totally understands. He'll definitely understand where she's coming from. He could potentially try to talk her out of it.
No, he's cool with that.
Outstanding. All right. So, a little bit later.
She returns with a real basilisk.
How did you know? Maybe she is the basilisk.
Everybody
tweets.
must get stoned.
A little bit later, a pair of guys will enter, and they have the distinct look of road wardens. They even have the cool cop mustache.
They look like twins.
They do look kind of similar. It's actually in the adventure, it notes that like people are surprised when they discover that they're unrelated, because they look kind of similar. So
Hans and Fawns.
as soon as Warden Brand sees Soren, he is actually gonna frown, and he's like gonna be giving him that do I know him sort of expression. Soren, give me an IQ check, please. Ooh, by 4. Good roll. Soren is going to be like, oh, yeah, I have seen this guy before. You vaguely recognize him from, let's just call it a job that you were on, and you don't think this guy got a good look at you, but he did chase you in the dark for a while. So I sure hope he doesn't officially remember you.
Cern is going to go up to the bar and get another drink, and he will do so next to these guys, and he'll make the comment, or he'll just say hello at first, and he'll say, "You must be brothers," as he's casually ordering his drink. He wants to see if these guys actually recognize him.
Well, it was just the one guy. By the time you get up there, they have been served ale by Sabrina, who is chatting with them and clearly knows them. And simply based off of the look of these guys, they've probably been on the road for a bit. They've got that dirty, dusty smell of horse look. And as soon as when you say that, it's like Sabrina laughs, and both of them, they almost don not quite identical, but pretty similar looks of disgust. They're like, no, no relation. And Brandt, the one that you know that was looking at you and you vaguely recognize, he's like, so Mistress Sabrina says you and the other, or you and your traveling companions are encountering some goblins today.
We did. We collected some ears, hoping to cash in on the reward.
Rudd looks a little irritated, and he's like, "How many ears?"
How many was it? 9? Something like that?
I think it'd be 10 because you killed 5.
How would we end up with an odd number?
One of them didn't have an ear.
That was something like 10. 10 ears.
You botched the ear cutting roll.
And Sabrina's like, "You are not doing that in here. You had better not have brought these filthy things into my bar."
No, of course not. I don't carry these things. That's disgusting.
He chucks the bag.
Discreetly hides the bag behind your back.
Kicks it under the table. Actually, no. I thought he always dressed well. Must be a different character.
Well, remember you've got the you can always change quirks if there's one on there that you don't really like or something like that.
No, it's alright. I've got so many games going, I lose track of characters. So Soren is just going to strike up a casual conversation while he's waiting for his drink. Once he gets his drink, he'll have a few sips, and he says, by the way, I feel quite generous tonight, and the drinks, at least for a while, are on me. So what brings you here?
What do you mean?
What's your story?
The road wardens. We travel. Surely you've encountered road wardens before. Brandt's definitely eyeing you with that. Surely you have. I think you have.
Soren will definitely lie. I'll say no. I've never really had a run-in with the road wardens. Upstanding fellow that I am.
All right, let's see. So he is lying to me. I don't know. You seem awfully familiar. Where are you from?
Oh, we have just arrived from... What's the name?
Ubersreich.
Ubersreich. We got out just before the things started to get really bad.
I was going to say, maybe you shouldn't call attention to that.
Actually, you were there, but it depends on what you mean by that, because that was like, remember, you're this particular Geissbach is actually pretty close to Ubersreich. Remember, you had the zombies, then you had the day after, and then this is the day after that. So it's like really, it's like 2 days later.
But news has traveled, right?
By now, absolutely.
Yeah, and they may have descriptions of suspects that were seen on the docks.
And where are you heading to?
It's a place called Nunya.
None your business?
They're totally cops. I mean, look at the mustaches. They've got the cop mustache.
Well, we're here for the moment. Where we go from here is depends on what work we can get. You wouldn't know of any possible work, right?
Road warden. There's always work for us. Got to keep an eye out for bandits and thieves.
Scammers.
Oh, you would have heard about Fat Falsberg then. Falsberg.
Yes, he's dead now.
I know. We killed him.
That definitely causes Rudd to sort of perk up, from his. He's like, "Oh, really?" Well, Brand is still looking at you super suspiciously. Like, "Oh yeah, I heard some of that. You were part of the bounty hunters that went after him.
That's right.
Lots of greenskins killed a bunch of people."
Yeah. We rescued the sister over there. Points to the table.
Both of them will glance, and it's one of those where it's like they look at her and then they start to look back at you, and then they go back to looking at her because, well, she's very pretty. Like, oh, lucky man.
He'll sort of laugh and say, "Yeah, I wish." And he's going to try and divert these guys. He says, "A little moment ago, there was a young lady in here pulling a scam. You should probably track her down. She seemed like she's up to no good. She claimed she had a basilisk in a box, but it was just a dead lizard fancied up to look like a
And
basilisk."
threw her under the coach just like that.
Absolutely.
Enfys is sitting there just shaking his head and chuckling.
Yeah, well, Sabrina is definitely going to chime in on that. And she's going to, the way she spins the tale, it's a lot more, sounds like, what is it? Heidi was a lot more manipulative and possibly evil. And she may have been a witch. I mean, why else would she be able to convince a bunch of, I was about to say a bunch of intoxicated people, a bunch of upright, upstanding citizens to pay pennies to look into a box that might turn them to stone.
At that, Enfys will laugh even louder.
She told one hell of a tale of woe about how she was cheated out of a real basilisk. But I didn't buy the story. You guys should probably go after her before she lures some other upstanding, innocent citizens into this scam of hers.
Warden Grant is going to be like, "Are you trying to get rid of us?"
Oh, you're welcome.
Just sort of rolls his eyes.
You're welcome to stay here as long as you want, but she just left, so she won't have gone far. Just trying to be some help. By the way, is there a reward for people like that?
Well, maybe if it's really bad. Yep, he's trying to get out of trouble. I see.
Well, Saren will say, enjoy the drinks, gentlemen, while they remain free.
And as you're leaving, you can definitely hear Warden Brand telling his partner, he's like, "I know I've seen that guy somewhere. Don't trust him."
Have an honest face.
Does he really?
Yes.
Yeah. So Rudd is gonna say, "I don't know, man. He seems pretty honest to me."
Yeah, unfortunately, honest face doesn't actually improve your ability to lie to people. It just means people are more likely to confide in you.
Well, in this case, it's just the one guy who's super suspicious because, well, your secret may have triggered at some point.
I figured that. So, Saren will be keeping an eye on these two, just in case Saren needs to shank one of them.
Run away? Shank one of them. That's
Wait
right.
for him to go into the outhouse.
That's right. He's going to shank a cop. Make sure you use one of the goblin spears so you can blame it on the goblins.
And litter some ears around?
That's right. Well, I don't know if you'd want to do that. You just told these guys you had some goblin ears.
This is true.
Okay, so a bit more time is going to elapse, and some of the time some of the farmers are starting to start trickling out of the area because they're like got the whole, man, I'd really like to have another ale, but I got to get up in the morning and go out and do the farming stuff. And so it starts to clear out here. By this point, Borgun has gone to his room and required a bit of help from one of the from the inn staff because he had been drinking quite a bit of ale. Holtz has started rambling on. He's clearly a talkative and very friendly drunk, while Gunnar is just sitting there, continuing, drinking some more. But both of them are definitely going to be a little impaired. Philippe is going to, once your game is done, is going to excuse himself and end up at the table chatting with the 2 road wardens, and all 3 of them are flirting with Sabrina, who seems to be more than capable of holding her own. The ladies over the noblewoman and her entourage, staff, whatever, are also going to retire for the night. And I gotta scroll in here and make sure I do that correctly. Before she goes upstairs, Sister Brigitte will check in with everybody. Greet everyone, make sure say hello, and will inform Jorg that if his injuries are still bothering him in the morning, then seek her out, and she will see what she can do. See what Shalia will be able to provide.
I would not want to trouble you, but thank you.
And when she's gone, Holtz is definitely what's wow, her and that redhead were beautiful, weren't they? He has no sense of volume. It gets a bit quieter in the area, and I need everyone to give me a hearing-based perception check. Christoph may be AFK.
Wow.
By 9 for Copper Tongue. Let's see. So those of you who are successful, so it looks like Soren is the only one that's unsuccessful at the moment. You're going to have heard a a long and somber rattling note followed by some piping, high-pitched cries that reverberate from the north. What is a long and somber rattling note?
Is that like a horn?
Maybe a horn. A weird horn.
I guess.
Okay. Would it be like a sound that Copper Tongue would have heard before?
No one's heard this particularly before.
Okay.
And
So-
nope, the road wardens don't appear to look like they know what this sounded.
That would have been a great idea for me to roll for them, wouldn't it?
Probably.
Okay, let's see if they hear it. That didn't do like I wanted to do. Apparently they're a little busy, trying to chat up the bartender lady. What about you, Philippe? Did you hear it? Oh, goodness, his perception sucks. But his was successful, so he's going to look sort of confused as well. It does sound like it's coming from pretty far to the north.
The hell was that?
Yeah, so saying that out loud?
Yeah.
How are you? I don't know who all heard it. Neither of your drivers heard it. Yost is probably not. No, actually, he's probably gone too.
All right. So Queen's going to take one last long drink of her beer, slam it on the table, and hop up and head out the door to investigate.
Enfys will accompany her.
Okay. Where are you planning on going to investigate? I mean, other than you heard something weird from the north, but it sounded like it was pretty far away. Maybe.
Okay.
Probably.
At this point, she's just going to go out the front door of the inn and look around to see if there's any activity. Is anybody? Because you said there was a high pitched scream.
There were long and somber rattling noted, followed by some piping, high-pitched cries.
Yeah. So that sounds like a fight. So she's at this point, she steps out the front of the inn and is looking to the left and the right to see if anybody's distressed or running. And then she'll pause there until maybe she hears more sounds in a better direction from where it's coming.
At the moment, you don't see anything particularly out of the ordinary. You may see some farmers glancing around, and some as they are making their way back, and several of them are muttering, "It's it's the beast. I'm telling you, that's that beast." And then some of them are arguing about whether it actually exists.
So Queen will flag one of them down and say, "Oi, what is the beast?"
It's the beast. There's a big monster that's been roaming around, and doing bad stuff. We don't know what kind of monster. It's a beast.
Anyone ever laid eyes on this beast?
I have to find my notes, but there is yes, there's Farmer Johann saw it, and Fritz, he's long gone by this point. Definitely asleep. He's 3/4 way drunk earlier, but he found its nest a while back, and our carpenter Ralph, we're fairly certain it ate him, and he disappeared a while back.
Aye. So Queen will ask where to go. You said Farmer Johann?
Yeah, he's one of he's and the guy's look at. She's like, over there-ish. Gives you directions that are difficult to follow because you're not from here, even though it's really small. You know how it is. It's like, yeah, you go down here and you turn at that thing, and cross the other thing, and it's the third one on the left, I think, or maybe on the right. I can never tell the difference.
What time
You'll
of night is
know
it?
it when you see it. It's about 7. It's definitely getting darker. Luckily, the moon is out full.
So Queen will, being gruff and unfriendly, will not thank them. She'll just turn heel and go back into the inn and go find her folks and say, so there's this beast. Apparently that's what that noise was.
I say we go out and at least maybe walk around the perimeter of the building.
Soren is a little uncomfortable with the cops being here. He'll say, well, we're big damn heroes. Let's go find this beast and kill it. I'm sure there's a reward.
Queen will go enact her standard operating procedure and sigh and strap her shield to her arm.
Let's say Jörg
I
will
wonder how
say,
intoxicated everybody is.
And
Jörg
Emphys
hasn't
will look
had
at
nearly
Soren and
enough
say-
to. Go ahead.
Emphys will look at Soren and say, yeah, since you sent her out to her death, let's go get that beast, Soren. Come on.
Jörg has not had nearly enough to be drunk, but he will finish off what he's got there and say, I'll go check the wagon, from which he does not intend to return.
You slacker.
Do we have a name for our group yet?
Nope.
Nope.
We'll probably need a name at some point. Yeah, the Drunk Hooligans.
At some point, we had discussed the idea of chartering a company, but I don't think we've gotten any farther than that.
The Crimson Doublets.
The Vomit-Stained Drunkards.
All right. Well, if people are getting ready, Soren will say, all right, and he'll sort of announce it to the people around the table and stuff, those that are within sort of earshot. We'll go take care of this beast, because big damn heroes are we.
Okay, so I need, based off of what I was reading, where did it go? I am going to need the higher of health or carousing. If you have alcohol tolerance, add +2.
How long have we been at this then?
Couple hours.
Yeah, it's not enough. It takes 3 1/4 drinks for me per hour.
Well, I'm not necessarily expecting anybody to be, drunk. Although Soren is at least tipsy.
Yeah, Soren will be tipsy. His judgment's probably not the best at the moment.
Okay, so need that from Emphys, Christoph, and even though Jörg is not, I just looking at the. All right, Emphys, you're also tipsy.
What was the bonus?
+2 if you have alcohol tolerance.
No, I probably already have that built in.
Yeah, it's either health or you're that drunk guy or the guy who's drinking the beer and on the Man Show back in the day.
No, he's like Archer. He's constantly drinking. It just doesn't affect him.
What are you talking about? Archer's like tipsy all the time. Christoph, need a check for you as well.
For what?
Either the higher of health or carousing.
Would I get a bonus? Because he wouldn't be a drinker. He would have probably just been sipping the same drink all night.
Okay.
I don't have carousing, so health.
Yes.
Uh,
Okay.
I don't
you're
know
fine.
what the negative is, but he rolled an 8.
Yeah, no negative. Okay, so it sounds like some of you are looking at heading out into, where are you planning on going for whatever it is you're planning on doing to kill the monster, even though you don't know where it's at
Monster.
Or what it is.
or what it is.
I think we should start in the courtyard. That might be the closest to where someone could have been attacked, and we could have heard it.
He said it was a long way away.
Yeah.
It didn't
Yeah,
sound
well,
like it
you're-
was necessarily in the village.
So Queen will relay her discussion with the farmers that there is farmer, whatever his face was, if you go this way and then that way and then that way and then third house on the right or the left. And he knows more information about the beast. He actually saw it. So figured we'll just start there.
Sure.
So something to note: it is dark at this point, so most of the farmers are probably setting in for the night. But that's fine. You can kick in the doors and go, "Give me the information I want."
Beefcake.
Yes, indeed.
Or we can call it a night and start in the morning. But we're leaving in the morning, right? With the wagons.
That is probably the plan. Yeah.
So we can go monster hunting at night while you guys are all tipsy and
That's a brilliant idea.
in the dark.
I think that's the best idea. Because we wouldn't know any better. We'd be like, yeah, that's a great idea. And Christoph wouldn't discourage you from it.
I'm totally heading out into the woods.
I don't have a roll for stubbornness.
Totally. Let's do this.
No, stubbornness doesn't normally have a roll associated with it.
Oh yeah, you need to remember to add that so others react to you at -1. Because it's like, oh god, not again.
Only
Not
if I'm
again.
being stubborn.
Yep. Right. So, a lot of you, well, most of you, are gearing up and heading, or at least going back to the wagon to sort of kit up wagons. The a bit of time, you're in the process of doing that, and what is this?
Oh, actually, I guess that should be the other way.
What? Wait, I don't understand. Why was it set to 18?
Wrong way.
Right.
It should be impossible for me to succeed.
Not impossible, just highly unlikely. So, right. So while you guys are at the wagons, kitting up, possibly trying to talk Jorg into coming with because he's being grumpy and stubborn. Sometime, a little bit later, you will hear some, this is very clearly coming from the far to the north. Remember the map of Geissbach itself, so it's definitely coming from farther north. You will hear some very faint crashing noises,
Okay.
but it does not sound very close at all.
What did it look like the cops were doing?
Hitting on the lady, hitting on the bartender. They didn't hear the thing.
Did
and
they
then,
hear
like-
when Queen walked in and started talking about a beast?
Yeah, they've heard about the beast. They don't believe that there actually is a beast. In fact, I should have probably had one of them, sort of shaking his head and like, I think they're imagining this. I don't think we've ever seen any signs of a beast, and we're like constantly moving around and on the roads all the time. But yeah, so you definitely hear the faint crashing noises. But like I said, it sounds pretty distant, but it does sort of vaguely remind you of tree falling or multiple trees falling.
Oh,
All right, well, Søren's plan. He's totally going to go along with the hunting the beast down, going to the farmer's place, asking about it. He'll totally do that. But he's just killing for time because he just wanted to be out of that place, hoping that the cops have left by the time he gets back. So after as much time as could pass before we actually head out into the woods, because he's not particularly interested in going out in the woods in the dark on a full moon, he'll say, kind of lost interest in this. We should go back and get some sleep. Be fresh for the morning.
Well, first gotta get to the farmer. So you guys, some of you guys will get to the farmer. It takes a bit of time and knocking on the wrong doors and getting different directions, but you will eventually get to the farmer who saw it, whose name was
Began with a Y.
Well, probably a J. Johann.
Johann.
Yeah, Joe, who is at least mildly inebriated and partially a little belligerent. So you'll definitely need to try to calm him down. I don't even know what the hell does tipsy do. Is it -1?
I think it was -1 to Dex and IQ and to frequency of submission for disadvantages.
Mental disadvantages. I'm just reminded I have that. -1 to Dex IQ and -2 to self-control rolls, except those to resist cowardice. Reduce shyness by 1 level if you have it. So I will need a diplomacy and or fast talk check to keep the guy from causing a ruckus and demanding you get the hell out of his house at whatever time it is he was about to go to sleep.
With the -1?
Yes. So you managed to calm him down and convince him to talk, and he will describe a monster that he's convinced he saw. It was really, really tall and really big, and the more you are talking about it, the less you really sort of believed he actually saw it very well. He saw something, and he has since talked himself into believing that he saw exactly what he saw. But he definitely saw something. Well, you presume he probably did see something. You're just not so sure if it's actually as big as he says it was, and breathing fire and with wings and eating everything.
It seemed it did both, like a thing that was both man and bear.
And as you are getting clear of the of that area, it's like, okay, it's been probably a solid 30 minutes just to find the dang place, and then 15 minutes or so to talk him. It's like as you're exiting, you can hear a fairly large commotion coming from the front of the village gates.
Over to the gates.
Yep. We'll go check it out, see what's going on.
Well, I know Soren was like talking about, I don't know if I necessarily want to do it. Is he still like that?
He's okay with going to the gates, but he doesn't want to sort of leave the city.
What about Christoph? He's been awfully quiet.
I think Christoph, he's still curious about what the monster is or the beast.
Okay, so you get to the gates, and there are actually a couple of apparently the village itself has, don't want to necessarily call it a militia because it's not really a militia, but they rotate gate guards for night, and they have a dirty and bedraggled woman that you will recognize as Heidi, although I don't know if she ever gave her name. And she looks really, really frightened, and she's like apologizing profusely to the guy who's like not enthusiastic about letting anybody in. She's like, I'm sorry. But I just saw a troop of goblins up the road from here.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody got detect lies?
Well, yeah, if you have body language detect lies, you can make that roll into the skull. Grr, arg.
Any social skills?
Based off of Soren's body language roll, she definitely looks kind of scared. Like there's a bunch of them, and orcs, and this great roaring thing in there with them. And the guards looking at her like not sure if he wants to believe her. Like, they have a man in a cage.
So at this point, Queen's going to be like, how far away is this?
Oh, Mr. Dwarf, yes. It's a mile, maybe mile and a half. I don't know. It was pretty dark, and yeah, I was walking, so it might be closer, but it felt like a mile.
So who's actually here? Is everybody here, or is it just like
I think
Queen and
Jorg is not there.
Oh, he may
Maybe.
straggle in for this one at least.
Emphas will say, well, at least you're safe. And I think there is no need to be going out after anything. Although you said they had somebody in a cage?
Yes. He's I don't know. I didn't see him very well. He seemed like kind of heavy set, gray hair, and the gray or the guard is like, did you see? Did he have? Actually, I should probably look at his picture to make sure I don't misidentify him. Was he balding? Kind of big beard, and she's like, yeah. Like, oh, that sounds like Ralph, or the carpenter we thought the monster ate.
So Queen will kind of look over at the group, and she's already readying her axe because she heard the word goblin.
And the gate guards guy's gonna be like, oh, I need to wait. We've got the road wardens. Yes, I'll go tell them. And he rushes off and totally abandons his post.
Well, I think we'll wait for the law to arrive. Might as well get them
We
involved.
should totally let them take care of it.
Yeah, I've only got half a sword.
Well, there's some spears.
Meanwhile, Queen is like grinding her teeth together.
It's dark. It's getting cold.
Oh,
The
sorry,
ale is
come on
wearing.
now.
The ale
Who
is
wants to
wearing
be
off.
Who wants to be the hero? You want to be the hero.
Yeah, that was when I was a little bit more drunk. I'm sobering up.
Quick, someone give him a drink.
We should totally
I'll
let
take
the
this.
we should totally let the law take care of it.
Wonder if the law can like.
But we can't collect the bounty that way.
Appeal to funding.
A little bit of time later, the two road wardens will come down there with that rather excited fellow. Cycling slightly back. Before that happens, while you guys are discussing, and it's like after the guy has run off, you will hear a horn that seems to be inside the village, which definitely causes a number of people to come, scrambling out of their huts or little homes or something like that, clenching their spears. This is probably not uncommon. You've probably heard it, depending on whether you've been living in a village or something like that. It's fairly frequent because apparently Warhammer Fantasy, like I said, it's a hell world. But you got various drunk people sort of stumbling out. Some people that weren't that drunk, and enough time has passed that most of them are at least mostly sober. The road wardens will finally show back up with that gate guard, and they'll be like sort of trailed by a number of like sort of like local militia types or farmers that have picked up spears, and they are they don't look particularly excited to go out in the dark either. But well, and as soon as they get there, they start interrogating Heidi, and her story remains remarkably consistent. Although she's since she's inside some walls, she's not quite as scared anymore. And when asked, she will definitely admit that she did not see a beast, but she heard it making some sort of like trumpeting call. And then she definitely heard something large crashing through the undergrowth where she was hiding. But well, she was hiding, so she didn't see it.
Well, are we going to go out there or not?
Well, can I do some tracking? Maybe check out.
You could, but it's going to be dark.
Would a torch help?
Possibly, but it's definitely going to make you more visible too. Got to keep that in mind. Anything that you use to light up the area means, well, you're lighting up the area.
It goes both ways, huh?
Yep. The two road wardens definitely debate what's going on, and they're just as logically as several of you are like, well, I don't want to go out there in the dark. We don't know what's gonna be there. They, unless someone talks them otherwise, they are going to decide that they're going to go investigate it with the militia and any would-be heroes at first light.
We have a timetable.
Possibly true. Yep,
Are we going north?
you are going north. Well, north-ish.
Well, I mean, if we could borrow some horses or something, maybe we could catch up to them.
Oh no! It's if you guys ended up deciding to accompany them, the two drivers are like, yep, we're gonna stay here then.
Oh, well.
Yeah, it's mostly north, but it's sort of like northwest, mostly north, and then it's becomes more northwest. Yeah. So, what is your plan? Are you going to like, yep, okay, we'll help, or are you like, this sounds like this is your problem? Wholly up
getting
to you
paid?
guys. No one has offered any reward yet.
I'll
Just like, well, we're gonna.
I'll tell the militia, whoever sounds like he's in charge-ish, say we can be bribed with beer
And silver.
or just beer.
While
Okay.
this is happening, Søren's just going to be sort of in the back, trying to not participate and not get noticed.
Yep. Well, okay. So, yes.
If there's a villager near him, Søren will try and fast talk him to like pipe up and say, no, we should go now, because Søren kind of wants these guys to go out and get killed.
So he can loot their bodies?
No, so he won't get arrested.
The Queen is not impulsive or anything. She will defer to the group.
Okay, hang on. I'll see if I. Let's see. Hang on. Yeah, no, I'm totally going with these guys.
We're totally
Like, come on,
friends.
let's go. We got to get out there. Someone's in a cage, for heaven's sakes. Enough standing around.
Okay. Well, let's see. All right. So, it does sound like because of various PC actions, Soren and Enfys is causing them to lean towards, yes, go now, rescue the person in the cage. The road wardens are going to glance over the various militia people or farmers, and they don't look particularly enthusiastic about that. They'll glance over the PCs, well, obviously, except Soren, who's like, lurking inside the thing, and definitely zero in on Jorg. Is okay, he's clearly like a fightery type, and Copper Tongue is like we could certainly use your assistance. I mean, these are greenskins and all. Hate to see what they would do to this village or another if they keep running a boot.
Okay, well, the Greenskins have a bounty on them. Kristoff would be willing to help for full access to the bounty.
How does okay? So we've got at least two. They're going. Yep, let's go. What about Jorg and Copper Tongue?
I made my purchase offer.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
he needs
beer.
a beer.
They're like, yeah, they'll yeah, people definitely be able to provide you with beer.
I'm
Queen
guessing the
just grins.
soldiers don't typically get bounty because that's not their job. That is their job.
Right. Yeah, they generally not. Okay, so they are going to gather the people up. They're going to basically like split them up into a couple of groups where it's like Brant will be leading this group of militia villagers, and Rudd will be leading this group, and you lot just sort of follow along and or vanguard, however you're going to do it.
I'll provide range support.
Well, yeah, they're not planning on doing it from here. You're going to have to scout forward, and then Heidi's going to have to obviously lead them to that, and she doesn't look remotely enthusiastic about that, but one of the road wardens is going to be like, yeah, we heard about you. Heard you caused something of a commotion in this village, so now you're paying it back. And she's like, right. And then, unless someone is refusing to go, you will set out into the darkness. Well, not that dark.
Into the moonlight.
Into the moonlight. A bunch of the militia people are absolutely bringing torches. Some of them have pitchforks. Okay, no, really, they have spears.
Queen
Some
has night vision.
Some of them have bows. Let's see. So moonlight or full moon is what? -4?
It's -5. -5, -4. It's not too bad, whatever it is.
Yeah, based off of the current modifier, I see full moon at -4.
Empress will follow Queenie and say, "That's right. Use your elf eyes. I mean, your dwarf eyes."
Oh, that's a
And
good
if
way
they-
to get kicked in the nuts.
Yeah. And if
It's a
they
good
need
one to
tracking, I can help.
It's a good one to get decapitated, defenestrated, and another traded one.
Queen will
Disemboweled.
Castrated?
Queen will
Castrated.
basically stop, pull up short, turn around and look at Invis, and just hold up one finger, and then turn around and keep walking.
One finger.
That's
Can I roll
one.
gestures?
Okay, so she will lead, Heidi will lead the militia up the road for about a mile. Any of you who are tipsy, how long does that last? I don't remember how that lasts. It may have worn off. I got to look that up now. That's irritating conditions. No, well, how long do irritating conditions last? Right. I needed to look at that.
I think it lasts
Sobering
until
up,
the morning.
after half as many hours as the total number of drinks you consumed. So, damn, we're going to have to keep track of how many drinks you actually consume.
Yeah, it's got to be a few hours at least.
Yeah, so still tipsy. Keep that in mind. Heidi will lead the militia up the road for not quite a mile, but a bit. And before she's, she points and she's like, it goes into the undergrowth this way. And so then it's going to lead into the forest, and everybody starts doing, or at least the militia guys start attempting to be stealthy. And she leads into the forest for a short while in an easterly direction to a depression in the ground where she's like, okay, this is, I created a sort of bivouac here. I was going to sleep here. And then I heard the goblins passing to the north. And the road wardens are going to be like, telling pretty much everybody, it's like, all right, slow and quiet. Let's try to not cause a big commotion yet. And then they start stealthing onward. Anyone who wishes to pursue or follow, let me know. And presumably you're going to want to be stealthy or try to be stealthy.
Well, Enfys will try to be stealthy with his loaded crossbow.
Darren will, but he'll be sort of at the back of the group, staying out of the way of the cops.
Queen tries to be stealthy, but probably Klutz kicks in and she trips and falls.
All right, I suck at that.
Well, let's see. How did wow, they didn't fail, even though I was like, they got an 11. That's not great at all. Yeah, so a lot of you are not particularly stealthy.
Hey, I'd be quieter if I wasn't stepping on all these branches.
We rely on darkness and distance and their own inattention.
In fact, it looks like the PCs are the ones that are not stealthy, and the villagers and the road wardens are pretty stealthy.
Stealth
Possibly
is
a
for
little.
skulks and criminals.
Oh crap. Okay, so let's see if you can do that. Although apparently Heidi sucked really badly on that. That's a fail by 10. Oh, that's a critical failure, huh? I don't think I've seen that before, where a 16 is a critical failure.
I think technically it's a contest, so it doesn't matter unless you just say she friggin' twisted her ankle or something.
She's making a lot of noise, just like the PCs. A little further north lies a trail of destruction and lots of footprints. They are small footprints, though, so that's interesting. And there are also some deep ruts in the mud, as if a heavily laden cart or wagon has been dragged. The trail runs from east to west.
Tell me
And
we're not
the-
walking through a cornfield.
No, it's mostly a forest.
No corn here anyway.
Past that. Yeah, so it's like, east to west, and the guards are not guards. The road wardens are like, crap, we don't know which way that they need to go. At this point, this would be where Christoph would probably want to do or try with the tracking.
Mhm.
Keep in mind, you are going to have the darkness penalty, I believe. However, there is going to be a fairly decent sized bonus because it's a large number of people. Well, things.
But we have torches, right? So would that offset some of the penalty for lighting?
Did you keep the torches? I should have thought that most of the or pretty much all of the villagers and the road wardens are going to have extinguished the torches once they went into stealth mode.
Oh, okay, yeah. Then never mind. Then you just said it was a -4 from the.
I believe so. Let me double. Yeah, it's -4 for the darkness, but it is a plus. It's going to be +6 following a. Well, it's not like group of men, but it's a large group. So I guess that'd be +2 then.
Okay. Want me to roll?
Yep.
Yeah. +2 for tracking. I rolled a 5 margin critical
crit.
by 11.
Wow. So you know exactly which direction they were. It looks like they were actually going in both directions. It's like, some based off of your roll. It looks like it looks like the ruts were heading from east to west, but a sizable number of the I don't know how you knew that, but you got a margin crit. So you were somehow able to tell that it was going from east to west, but a number of the goblin footprints were also heading back to the east.
Okay. So I'll relay that to the guards and the wardens.
Okay, hold on. I actually
And
wanted to
our group, of course.
check. And there's going to be several of the villagers who are carrying bows, and they're clearly like hunter types, and they're very impressed. They're like, yeah, I mean, I didn't get that good a handful, but okay, I totally believe him.
That might work for me because I'm trying to increase my reputation eventually, as a tracker, pathfinder, that kind of the go-to person.
Right.
So that might help for my reputation.
Well, the fact that you've identified that it's in both directions, that's going to cause the two road wardens some. They were hoping it was all going to be in one direction, so they could just descend upon them in mass. Now they're going to start putting their heads together and quietly arguing over tactics, and unfortunately their tactic skill is not great.
I say to Queenie, I wish we had forest wardens, not road wardens.
Queen just grunts.
Yeah, my tactics aren't that great either.
Right. So all around, it looks like there was some fails. So they're probably going to want to split the teams up. So the two road wardens will go in one direction, with like half of the local militia / villagers, and the PCs will go in the other direction with the rest.
Okay, that sounds good.
So, which direction do the PCs actually want to go? Is it going to be to the east, which the wheels were heading, or to the west, where it looks like some of the things were walking?
Roll a
Can I-
D2.
I think we should
Based on my
go
tracking-
follow the wheels because that's where the prisoner is.
Yes, follow the wheels.
What were you going to
Right.
ask there, Christoph, just in case?
Oh, just if it matters, the tracks, can I tell if they were like goblin or orc traps or the warg? Can I get some more intelligence?
You did not see, based on, well, you got a margin crit on the tracking thing. Pretty much all of the ones that you saw were small. So you're suspecting it's probably mostly goblins.
Okay. I mean, I agree. We should go follow the wagons. I think that was what I'll tell the group because
Okay.
of the prisoners. But I do want to give that information that most of the tracks, or they all appear to be goblin tracks.
All right, so you guys will head back, or you'll split up the villagers, and I will have to determine exactly how many that is for next week. Making a quick note. I love how the adventure says, they go with the militia. It's like, well, how many is that? They go with the militia. Sorry, just making a quick note. All right, so I am going to have everyone give me another stealth check.
Oh, it's better.
Oh, I
Right,
didn't put the
okay,
modifier
so
for lights or anything like that.
1, 2. Yeah, I don't think that in this case that necessarily matters, because it's like, so we got 2 fails, 1 by 5, 1 by 3. Everybody else succeeded. Let me check my archery guys, and fail by 2. Wow, they're not doing pretty good either. Let's see. So that is going to be fail by 5, and I will determine how that's going to work next. So this will bring following the trail to the west. So you're following those. That actually starts to bring you closer to the Obersreich Bogenhofen Road again. There is a wide clearing just within the tree line, and you will see a number. Something that is very large that is sitting in there, and there are a number of goblins, scattered around. What you will see is it almost reminds Jorg of like a makeshift siege tower. Like, is that a cart? Maybe it's like on a cart that's been built up and like has sort of a spiked ram. I mean, what the heck?
Just because I have it.
Nice. Well, yeah, okay. But you will definitely see a number of goblins around. Let me make sure and see if the guy is here. And everyone give me a vision-based perception check. Remember the darkness penalty.
What is that again?
-4.
Does observation apply, or is
That'll be fine. Yeah,
Queen has night vision 5, so I think that negates it.
that does in fact negate it. Oh, right. And Christoph, he has slight night vision too, I think.
no? Not take it. Sorry.
Then
So it was a
you would have been at -4,
Sorry.
not
Yeah.
-2. Okay, so
I
you
don't
got
know.
a
I
success
don't know
by
why I put
2
-2.
instead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So most of you won't be able to see it. Copper Tongue and Christoph are going to note that there is a wooden cage that is in that clearing. It was mostly hidden, so I guess the rest of you are like super focused on the whatever the hell that thing is, but Copper Tongue and Kristoff will see the wooden cage, and there is absolutely a guy sitting in there. And I just noticed something listed in the thing, but this is what the guy and once he's pointed out, several of the villager or archer guys with you will be like, "Hey, that is Ralph." Although he looks a lot worse than this, he's actually missing an eye. His nose is broken. He's very clearly had the snot beat out of him.
So Queen
And-
will kind of like poke Jorg and point towards the cage to make sure that he knows where it is, since he's our tactics guy.
Well, that's sad.
I know.
Well, it's the same way with your game there, Giger, where it's like I was the tactics guy and I had a 10.
I
True.
think it's good.
It's
It's
like
good.
I'm the leader, quote unquote.
You have a 50% chance of failure.
Yep.
I mean, success.
So
Whatever.
based off of so you can see it's like there's 2 floors roughly here. Okay, that's good to know. Keep that in mind. Full moon -4. Yep. Yeah, I will adjust my modifiers if they are wrong on there. I don't think they're wrong. I think they're mostly okay.
Actually, I'm wondering if you can drop a link to a modifier in there.
I can play around and see. Okay, so you're going to see, let's see, 3, 5. There are a number of goblins around here. Some of them are, crashed out and sleeping. Some of them are sort of patrolling the area, but in a sort of half-assed way. And there are some that are actually slightly smaller than normal goblins. But they're not like kids. They're more like snotlings, as they're called. But with that, we are going to fade to black. Cue the music. Roll the credits. If you are watching or listening to this and you have any comments, questions, complaints, or general heckling, feel free to leave a comment here or find us on Discord. Please consider liking and subscribing and all that to our YouTube and Twitch channels, or don't. I'm not your dad. Anyway, thank you for watching, and Olympus out.
Good night.
See ya.
Awesome.
Bye.
Night.